When we're looking at a standard 5-zone heart rate model, the most generic form of a 5-zone heart rate model you can find, it's the individual zones are done in 10% increments, right? So zone 1 would be 50 to 60% of your heart rate. And then zone 2, like you said, 60 to 70% of your heart rate. Zone 3, 70 to 80%. But we know that that is not all zones are the same actual size. And depending on your training status and genetics, those could be way off, right? So, I mean, if we had somebody come off the couch, sedentary for most of their lives, and we put them in an exercise science lab, it is probably a decent assumption to assume that their aerobic threshold is like maybe somewhere in zone 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we take a highly trained athlete, a professional runner, an elite athlete, their aerobic threshold, the top of their zone 2 could be up to 80 or even 85% of maximum heart rate. So this is why these zones, the percentage zones, I think are really confusing for a lot of people because they tend to be very conservative when even people with a modern amount of fitness probably have a zone 2 that is slightly above 70% of their maximum heart rate, so that when people get their, do the formulas and they're like, oh my God, I can't run at all in that zone. This is BS. Screw it. I'm just not even going to try. Right. That I feel
Mm-hmm.
like is a big, okay, like I'm gonna say like an exit, like a lot of people exit their zone 2 journey at that point. So
Yep.
if you are getting heart rate that seems really weirdly low when you are trying to figure out your zone 2, I would, like we said, first, are you using your actual maximum heart rate or a formula? Because if something doesn't feel like it's right there, then already we're running into problems. And then look at what percentage you're using to calculate your zone 2. Because if you're trying to stop at 70% of your maximum heart rate, that might be too low for you. And that could be why you're getting really frustrated.
Exactly. And like I said, I was just trying to make this super simple. So I was like, oh, I can't run in that range. Let me just see what my Apple Watch says. Oh, it says higher. Oh, thank goodness. And on my Apple Watch, I could set alerts for to stay in zone 2. So it was like vibrating if I went too high, which was super helpful for me. So I wasn't just staring at my watch for the entire run. But yeah, I mean, it definitely depends. But at the end of the day, there are benefits to zone 1 and zone 2. So we really just want to make sure we're not going too high. I mean,
Yes.
that's just like the name of the game. Don't go too high. Make sure you're staying, around zone 1, zone 2. Ideally, zone 2 would be a little bit more reasonable for running, but we just want to make sure we're not going too high. So it doesn't have to be 100% perfect because at the end of the day, our running watches aren't 100% perfect either. So even if we get everything calculated in a gait lab or a exercise phys lab, then and we set it up with our Apple Watch is still off by what, like 10 to 20% or something crazy like that. So it's not going to be 100% perfect at the end of the day unless you want, the chest strap and all that. But I was just trying to make it super, super simple. But I think a chest strap is a great way to monitor your heart rate and make it a little bit more accurate too.
And so this is why I really say, hey, look, if this is something that you really want to use in your training, I would highly recommend investing in a heart rate chest strap or an armband because it is so frustrating to go through this entire process and then in retrospectively think, oh my God, my watch has been wrong this whole time. It's been reading my heart rate wrong. Like, ouch. I mean, you probably didn't screw it up, but that's not a great feeling to have. Something else that can be frustrating for runners who are using heart rate in training is this idea that you have to be like glued to your watch for the rest of your life, that like you have to be always in the right heart rate zone, and if you're out of it, you're failing, and like checking it all the time. And yes, it can be helpful in the beginning to check it more frequently. Like you said, you have an alert that you set where it would kind of buzz at you if you rose above a threshold that you'd set. I know that feature is very common in almost every smartwatch that is available nowadays. But the goal of using heart rate in training is not to be glued to your watch for the rest of your life. It's to teach you what things are supposed to feel like so then you can go out and not have to rely on heart rate so deciduously in order to make that happen for the rest of your
I
running.
mean, I don't look at my heart rate now when I'm running. I don't have to. I know my zone 2 pace. If it's hotter, I know my zone 2 pace. If there's less humidity, I know my zone 2 pace because I can also hear myself breathing. And I can tell by my breathing how loud my breathing is, my breathing rate. If I can feel my heart, kind of like that beating on my chest, I'm probably going a little bit too fast. So I 100% know my zone 2. If I were to run with my eyes closed, I would know my zone 2 pace. And I think, it's again, I'm going off effort now. I'm not going off what is my Apple Watch telling me I'm running in, because I've just trained myself to know my zone 2 pace. And that's something I really worked on. Was once I started to understand what zone 2 felt like, I would look at my watch a lot less. And I turned off even like the alerts after just a couple months of running in zone 2, because I knew 100% what it felt like.